Namaskar, I am Tilak Devasher and you are watching The Great Game Reloaded. In May 2025, India and Pakistan fought their most intense conventional confrontation in more than decades. This was Operation Sindoor following the Pahalgam terror attack. In earlier episodes, I have talked about how Operation Sindoor unfolded and why it marked a new threshold in India's response to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. In the months that followed, Pakistan claimed victory using narrative warfare, falsehoods, by avoiding specifics and not showing satellite imagery of the damages it claimed to have inflicted on India. Today, I will revisit that confrontation, not to repeat what is already known, but to demolish Pakistan's narrative that sought to project victory. In December 2025, in a rare public admission, Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari revealed that during the May conflict, his military secretary advised him to move to a bunker. His response was dramatic. He said, "Leaders do not die in bunkers, they die on the battlefield." Strip away the rhetoric and ask yourself, when is a head of state advised to seek shelter? Only when strategic installations and command centers are under attack, when the very survivability of leadership becomes a concern. This was not the language of victory, it was the language of panic. Then, for months, Pakistan officially denied that India struck Noor Khan base, one of its most sensitive installations located near Rawalpindi, close to military headquarters and strategic command nodes. That denial did not hold. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar later acknowledged that India had indeed attacked Noor Khan Air Base during the early hours of 10th May as part of a large-scale drone and missile operation. Acknowledging damage there acknowledges how close the conflict came to the core Pakistani military nerve center. More revealing still were reports, based on Pakistani sources themselves, that 138 gallantry awards were given posthumously. Even conservative military arithmetic suggests casualties of at least 400 to 500 during the operation if 138 were awarded posthumously. Another claim that quietly collapsed was Pakistan's insistence that it did not seek mediation. By Dar's own account, the morning of 10th May saw urgent calls involving the US Secretary of State and the Saudi Foreign Minister. Dar said these leaders wanted to speak to India. But the sequence matters. These calls came after India struck Pakistani air bases and before the ceasefire was announced. Even Pakistan's own Prime Minister later acknowledged being briefed overnight about attacks on Noor Khan. The implication is unmistakable. Pakistan's leadership concluded that continuing the conflict was untenable because ceasefires are about capacity and risk, and Pakistan's leadership concluded the risk had become unacceptable. And in doing so, it revealed how severely India had damaged them. Perhaps the most revealing evidence came not from South Asia, but from Washington. Pakistan hired American law and lobbying firms. It filed detailed submissions under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, with the US Justice Department. At a time of economic distress, Pakistan spent a staggering US dollars 5 million to circulate its narrative of events to US officials, lawmakers, and influencers to manufacture perception about events. And what did these filings, released publicly by the US Department of Justice in early January 2026, reveal? Perhaps the most telling passage is about seeking US mediation, urging it to play a role between India and Pakistan. Instead of the lobbying effort projecting its narrative, it became reflective of its weakness. The filings contradict Pakistan's official version of events. They show Pakistan handling escalation not from a position of strength, but under extreme military pressure. They show Pakistan engaging in more than 60 recorded exchanges with American White House staffers, legislators, Pentagon and State Department officers, and influential media voices within a short period. This shows the direct link between crushing military losses that led to the desperation for a ceasefire. Finally, a report titled Operation Sindoor, the India-Pakistan Air War 7th-10th May 2025, published by the Swiss Center for Military History and Perspective Study, or CHPM, and authored by a military historian, offers one of the most comprehensive independent reconstructions so far of the 88-hour India-Pakistan Air War from 7th to 10th May 2025. It makes the following points that demolish Pakistan's narrative. 1. India's Operation Sindoor marked a decisive shift in the balance of air power in South Asia, culminating in New Delhi achieving clear air superiority and compelling Pakistan to seek a ceasefire after 4 days of intense fighting. 2. The turning point came on 10th May. India expanded its target set to include multiple Pakistan Air Force bases, striking runways, radar installations, and support infrastructure. Among these was Noor Khan Air Base, Pakistan's strategic command hub. 3. The CHPM report uses a precise phrase, escalation dominance. India demonstrated it could widen the conflict, target sensitive military assets, and still control the escalation ladder. 4. This sequence matters. The Swiss analysis notes that it was Pakistan, not India, that concluded further escalation carried unacceptable risks. It concludes that Pakistan judged India's escalation potential to outweigh the benefits of continued conflict. In brief, India demonstrated escalation control, Pakistan revealed vulnerability. 5. The report concludes that, and I quote, sufficient elements appear to indicate that by the morning of 10th May 2025, the Indian Air Force had succeeded in achieving air superiority over a significant portion of Pakistan's airspace, unquote. Further, quote, by achieving clear air superiority, India coerced Islamabad into requesting a ceasefire, unquote. 6. Most significantly, the report notes, and I quote, the Pakistan Air Force had lost the ability to repeat the operation it had conducted on 7th May 2025. 7. Crucially, the Swiss study highlights the performance of India's Integrated Air Command and Control System, or IACCS, network that blunted Pakistani attempts at retaliation and emerged as one of the surprises of the conflict in terms of effectiveness. All this should set at rest every Pakistan's hollow claim of a victory. I am Tilak Devasher. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and comment. Namaskar and Jai Hind.